On this episode of In the Weeds, we discuss the Toledo War and its ultimate resolution, and the Native American code talkers during the World Wars, whose code has still not been broken to this day.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to In the Weeds. This is Jonathan, also possibly known as French Fry, and we're sitting here getting ready to talk about some interesting things today. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's Friday. I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Get to hang out.
Good.
I got vacation coming up in less than a week. I'm pretty geeked out about that. Get to go to Ohio and see my fam.
Vacation's always nice.
It's been since we went on the cruise, the last vacation I took.
Nice.
So, pretty excited.
Nice.
So, yeah.
None of you guys introduced yourselves.
I'm
FYI.
Mom.
No, I mean, they might know us already by this point.
I'm sure our listeners know us by now, but if not,
Do we want to restart? Do we want to just, take it from the top?
Or you just roll into it because it could be a funny cameo moment.
Or we could just roll into it. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm the only chick. It's pretty obvious I'm Mom.
well, I'm Austin.
I'm Mike.
This is hilarious.
So, who's got what?
I got nothing. I'm just hanging out this
me-
episode.
Yeah, I'm
me
gonna
and
tell
you.
you right now, I'm 100% peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
It's
All
us,
right.
buddy.
I'll let you go first since you've got it on paper.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, in honor of the fact that I'm going to go to Ohio to see my fam, more specifically Toledo, Ohio, I decided I was going to do a little research on the Toledo War, a.k.a. the Michigan-Ohio War, a.k.a. the Ohio-Michigan War. Guess it depends on what side of the border
Yeah.
you're standing as to what you call it.
They either fought about water or dirt. I've been to both. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, Toledo's got both.
Yeah.
Just say
Yeah.
the lake in general.
Wait, Toledo's like the one right on the...
Oh,
It's like on the edge of the two, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right on the
Kind of like
Michigan.
Augusta is with South Carolina?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I forget.
That's Toledo.
Yep, it's right there in the Michigan border, and now I know why, because I did some research. So I'm gonna kind of just brief synopsis of this, kind of to start, and then I'm gonna kind of go through it a little bit. But Ohio was already a state, and Michigan was a territory. The Michigan Territory's southern boundary was drawn from the bottommost tip of Lake Michigan eastward, intersected Lake Erie, north of the Maumee River. So Ohio sitting here, yep, this is all mine, and Michigan was okay with it for a really long time until a fur trader walked in and said, yo, Michiganders, you know Lake Michigan goes down a little bit further than what you guys thought, right? Thus began the feud.
So one guy started it all.
A fur trader.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a little bit more water over there.
Yeah,
it goes-
just a little bit more.
You just
Yeah.
got to go around that plateau over
It
there.
already has y'all's name on it.
yeah, right.
Why does Ohio have it?
So, kind of take it back just a little bit. Ohio actually became a state in 1803. So it was part of the Union in 1803. And Michigan was just a territory. It was not a state. It was not part of the Union. It was Michigan territory.
Free land.
Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. So I pulled up some maps on the old Google and of the time, like maps that were drawn at the time, 1803. There's no consistency whatsoever. Some of them show Lake Michigan further down. Some of them show Lake Michigan a little bit further up. Some of the funniest parts is the ones that are more accurately drawn, they have two lines. One that says this is what Michigan says the border is, and the one that says this is what Ohio says the border is. So Ohio's border was obviously further north, and Michigan's what they wanted to be the border was further south.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting.
So that whole area in between became known as the Toledo Strip.
I see.
No, man.
The Toledo Strip.
The Toledo Strip.
Where does the name Toledo come from?
I think it was a person.
A person? Austin's
Maybe it was an
Um,
animal.
phone out.
You know, I'm pretty sure I did read
Maybe it
that,
was
and
an
I did
animal.
not write it down because it was not important to the war.
Watch
Right.
out! There's a herd of Toledos over there.
Well, Toledo's also a city in Spain,
Interesting.
which I always thought was kind of cool. So, that being said, no one at any point up until Andrew Jackson, President Andrew Jackson, actually drew the line, figuratively and literally. President Andrew Jackson was the one who was like, nope. All right, we got the answer. Why is it called Toledo?
All right. Toledo is derived from the Latin name Toltum, city of generations. Place name. The place's name not only is in Spanish, but also Bolivian and Ugarian.
Are you looking up Toledo, Ohio, or Toledo, Spain?
Just Toledo itself.
Okay, there's
We're asking why Toledo in Ohio is named Toledo in Ohio. But Toledo in Latin means generations, apparently. So that is cool, though.
that is really cool.
Yeah, it's nice. Words are fun like that.
They
Yeah.
are.
Latin's pretty cool that way.
Yeah, Latin's pretty dope.
I took Latin for some years.
Now, while he's still figuring this out and we're taking a pause, why is it they say Latin is a dead language and nobody speaks it, but then people on resumes say they speak Latin because they take it as a course in college? That don't make no sense to me.
'Cause you
No
can-
cultures or communities speak in Latin.
It's not an official language anywhere.
It's a dead
so like,
language.
there's not a culture that's actively using it.
Correct.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
What's the word, man?
It's just named after Toledo, Spain.
Oh, it is named after Toledo, Spain?
That's all it is.
That kind of makes sense.
Okay.
That
Cool.
That's where a lot of people came from.
Yeah. Well. So, Michigan Territory was created in 1805. Now, mind you, Ohio was a state in 1803. Ohio got a little mad at this fur trader because they were like, dude, we agreed upon this specific boundary. This has been part of our state. You know, why is it now a big deal?
Right.
And the bickering actually went on, and there was a whole bunch back and forth with the bickering, blah, blah, blah. I mean, to the point, like, residents of Ohio at Port of Miami were like, yo, they're on the Maumee River going like, Ohio, you might want to address this. The officials never did anything about it. Each state got their own surveyors. They couldn't agree. So they ended up with two separate lines, which were the boundaries that I was speaking of earlier. 8 miles apart at Lake Erie and 5 miles apart at the Indiana border.
Okay.
So that's 468 square miles of land,
Yep.
as I said earlier, became known as the Toledo Strip.
Okay.
Ohio claimed it, and Michigan just set up shop. Like, you can claim it all you want. We live here. I don't care, Ohio.
Damn.
To hell with you,
Damn.
Buckeyes. We're running things, and they started setting up infrastructure in the Toledo Strip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and this had gone on for years, all the way up to the point where Michigan wanted to become a state and be part of the Union in 1833.
Okay.
So, like, you're talking a couple decades of,
Like 25 years of them
Yeah.
fighting over this.
It's 3 decades.
yeah, almost. Yeah.
Well, you said Ohio was a state in 1803.
And Michigan became a territory in 1805.
Right, but they didn't become a state till 18.
No. They wanted to become a state in 1833.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no.
So, yeah, they're still not a state at this point. But
Well,
they
I
wanted
got 30 years on this block. That's my corner.
Yeah. So this is even though Michigan occupied the Toledo Strip, Ohio congressmen lobbied to block Michigan from becoming a state.
Oh.
Oh, nice. Until they gave it back.
Essentially, well, yeah, from becoming part of the Union. So essentially stopping them from becoming a state until Michigan accepted Ohio's boundary that included the Toledo Strip as the official boundary. So both states wanted it, and they wanted it because of the potential major port on Lake Erie. So the Erie Canal had
Right.
been made, so that's like a major thoroughfare right there. So that was the whole reason why everybody wanted Toledo or the Toledo Strip. So Ohio thought their claim was so strong that Governor Robert Lucas refused to negotiate with Michigan. Governor Robert Lucas, I was born in Lucas County, Toledo, Lucas County Hospital. So then that's what Lucas County was made for. And as a matter of fact, I'll go on to explain some more of that in a bit. Michigan's governor, Stevens Mason, was a young buck. And they called him the boy governor because he was like 22 or 23 at the time. That is pretty freaking young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's
That's young as
really
hell.
young. Like, that's you being a governor right now. But anyway, so he basically said, hold my beer. I got this. Since he had set up infrastructure in the Toledo Strip, he said anyone who supports Ohio or tries to claim Ohio jurisdiction in the area will be fined or arrested. And they did. They arrested people. So some of the rest included 9 surveyors. That's how many surveyors people kept, like Ohio kept sending in there. You know, like, no, this is Ohio, this is Ohio. And one of the people that Michigan sheriff arrested was Major Stickney. And I don't know if you remember being in Toledo, but there's Stickney Avenue.
Yeah.
So it's named after his family. He
Okay.
was one of the founders of Toledo.
Gotcha.
And his name was actually Benjamin Franklin Stickney. His great uncle was the Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, nice.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a cool.
I did.
And that was his namesake. That's who he was named
Okay.
after. Major Stickney's son did not like this whatsoever. And a little bit of I'm going to sidetrack on the Stickneys here because this was a fascinating little hole to go down. Major Stickney had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. His first son's name, 1. His second son,
2.
2. His daughter, Indiana, because he served
Nice.
in the state of Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, either this man gave no shits about his kids or he just had zero creativity and his wife's like, whatever, you're the major.
Yeah. So, that's crazy.
Jesus.
Literally named his sons 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yep. And, I mean, those are literally their given names.
Fuck
that or he had a really bad memory and he just figured that would be the best way he could remember his children's names. I don't know.
That's crazy.
1
So-
and 2.
Maybe he could only count to 2. That's why he had to name the third one Indiana.
Instead of 3. Maybe. So 2 is mad about his daddy being arrested and gets in a bar fight with this Michigan sheriff and stabs him with a penknife.
Oh, a pen
And then he
knife?
hauls ass back to like Ohio proper. So that is the only bloodshed of the Toledo War.
Oh, see, I was thinking,
Wow.
as you were going on, I was like, this is probably one of those wars that wasn't a real war.
Right.
Or, well, not a battle.
So-
war.
A negotiational dispute.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Kind of sticking on my little sidebar of the Stickneys. So they are all, well, the father and the 1 and 2 are buried in Forest Cemetery on Stickney Avenue. Nobody knows where Major Stickney's buried. They forgot through history.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe while I'm up in Toledo, I can take
Kick
a
a
visit.
rock and find a head.
Yeah, maybe I can find Major Stickney's grave.
Maybe.
Probably under an oak tree or some shit.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Five,
yeah.
$5 it's under a parking lot.
No,
Yeah.
No.
The chances of that are like pretty high, I think.
no, I don't think so.
Maybe not.
See here, you said that was around what, 1830, 1840?
Yeah, I don't know what year he actually died in.
Well, we'll say he lived a good life. He lived 60 years back then, you know. He died around 1860. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they're a little nicer to our cemeteries up north, and you don't have to move them like you do so much in the south with flooding.
Yeah, but
and
if
such.
nobody knows where he was buried, then it probably wasn't buried in the
he's
cemetery.
in the cemetery. They just don't know where in the cemetery.
Oh, so then the stone's probably just eroded to crap.
Right, yeah. They know he's in
Oh.
that cemetery. They just don't know where in the cemetery. They lost his plot.
Okay.
Time to go crack open a box.
Yeah, right.
Bring a couple shovels and the whole family.
So
Don't try
Governor
this at home.
Lucas, getting off the sidetrack, Ohio said, or Michigan said, we're going to arrest anybody, and they did arrest folks. And Governor Lucas says, okay, this is now Lucas County. To hell with you, Michigan. And he appointed a sheriff and a judge. So now it's got infrastructure set up by Michigan with Michigan sheriffs. But Michigan's still a territory, not a state. But now it's a county in Ohio with a judge and a sheriff. That would get
hell?
confusing. So Governor Mason sent militia to the area, and the Toledo War officially began in 1835. Both sides sent militia to either side of the Maumee River, and basically they just yelled at each other, called, like, "Fuck you, you little." No, I was not going to say that word. "Little punk.
Yeah.
You're such a wuss. You won't do anything." And like, the biggest thing that really happened about all that was they shot rounds in the air.
So it was a lot of, "What's your name?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
What's your name?"
Yeah. I mean, it was all trash talk. That's basically all it was. Finally, President Andrew Jackson says, "Enough's enough. You two kids behave. I'm pulling this car over." And at this point, he was fearing a civil war between the two areas. And so he removed Governor Mason from office and disbanded the militia. He was like, "No, no more." So Michigan set up a state government anyway. They're still not a state at this point.
Okay.
They went ahead and they're like, "We're setting up a state government. No problem." So finally, in 1837, Michigan was entered into the Union without Toledo.
Yep.
But their consolation prize is they got the UP.
Oh, that's right. I've heard about this.
So it turns out the UP was a much bigger win than the Toledo Strip,
Yeah.
because UP's known for timber, iron, and copper, along with blizzards. So, I mean, really, Michigan may have won on that front.
I think so.
Overall, I'm not sure I'd call this war or even a skirmish. It's more of just siblings fighting over a toy or something, and Dad, President Jackson, had to step in and solve the problem. Except for the stabbing part. That was a little more warlike. I mean, I don't have any siblings, so I'm not real sure, but to the best of my knowledge, the three of you never stabbed each other that I know of. Okay. He's shaking his head no.
Nope.
So that was really kind of the brief little story of the Toledo War, with a little side venture on 1-2 in Indiana.
So Ohio and Michigan are big bro and little bro.
Yeah, and Ohio's the big
Yep.
bro. Make
Yep.
no mistake.
But you know what's funny, right? You go up to that area today, they still argue. They still talk so much
Hello,
trash.
do you not watch the football game? The Saturday after Thanksgiving
I
is
don't
the
watch
Ohio
sports.
State-Michigan game. That is when my Facebook blows up.
I don't watch sports.
It is a good rivalry game.
Yeah.
It is a good
And
rivalry
you
game.
know, and to think about it, I mean, that's probably where the rivalry came from. Probably started all them years ago. And it just kind of carried into the sports tradition.
Oh, without a doubt.
They were like, "Oh, we gonna throw the pigskin around and I can hit these dudes."
I'm about to beat them up.
Because I'm here to tell you, anybody
gonna
that
hurt.
is from Ohio, if you say, "Oh, you're from Michigan," no. And anybody from Michigan, "Oh, you're from Ohio," no.
Damn. It's
But my
beef.
family's spread across both because Toledo is on the border,
Yep.
pretty much, right there on the border.
It's a few miles from the border.
It's
It's-
equal beef.
It's
both
doggone
ways.
close to the point
Yeah.
where when the drinking age changed from 18 to 21 in Ohio, I know of certain family members that just went across the border to Michigan and got their alcohol because the drinking age was still 18 there, and just traipsed right across back the border and
Yep.
enjoy their adult beverages.
Yeah.
Won't be
Schmall.
calling out any names.
Schmall.
I think French fry over here has a look of readiness on his face.
I'm looking like it.
Well, I mean, it all depends. Do you know how to talk anything other than English?
Negative.
I know like a couple words in Spanish. and
A
stuff.
couple words in Spanish?
You know what?
Muy poquito.
I can only speak English. I'll just,
No,
I'll
no,
just
no.
say
I mean,
that.
I'm generally asking. If you got a little bit, then you got a little bit,
Muy
because this all
poquito.
ties in.
like literally a couple words.
Yeah, because this all ties in. So it's just a general question.
Okay.
Una más cerveza, por favor.
Okay, fair enough. Definitely a white way of asking for a beer, but that's okay. Um,
I'm white. What do you expect?
but so I'm here to talk about code talkers, which is actually a general term, but is always and most commonly associated with the Navajo code talkers, which I come to find out was both present in World War One and World War Two.
Okay.
Code talkers.
So
Not wind talkers?
not Wind Talkers. Wind Talkers is the name of the movie that portrays code talkers.
Okay. I'd ask.
It's actually there is a slight rumor that a current part of their code for like code talkers was that their code name was Wind Talkers, which is why I think they came up with that name for the title.
Okay. Interesting.
But so it's interesting because when it all started, out of when they were trying to figure out code, which if people kind of, throughout history, everybody's always tried to have a code. Kings had to have a secret code to send messages to other kings so nobody could break them. Naval fleets had to have code. Signal corps, using a series of flashing lights.
Yeah.
Morse code, series of taps and tones, It's all code.
Yep.
Well, here's the rub with it all. This is the only one that's never been broken.
Okay.
A lot of that has to do with the fact that the Navajo, at the time, never had their language written down.
So
it
it's
was only
strictly
verbal.
vocal.
Strictly vocal.
Gotcha.
So
Interesting.
when it all started, there was about between 400 to 500 Native Americans
Yeah.
that were adopted into the Marine Corps
Yep.
to basically try and figure this out, right? As they went on, the initial languages they used were of the Comanche, the Hopi, Meskwaki, and the Navajo.
Yep.
What they decided that the codes would be broken up into two forms of code. There was a formal code and an informal code. Formal code, which more people will probably understand now, was a phonetic alphabet. You got a letter, you got a word. And that's the way they would radio those messages. Okay. You're going to spell it out per word, per sentence, per space. It's going to take you a minute.
Yeah.
And then, because of, the way, you're in the middle of war, you're getting shot at, there's a rocket pointed at your face. I ain't got time to sit here and for 30 minutes to send a 10-second freaking, hey, I need support.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to be here for 30 minutes. No. So then there was their informal way of saying it, which was heavily relied on by the code talkers because of the way it was proven was they could send a 30-minute communication
Yeah.
in under 30 seconds
Oh, how?
because of the way they use their language.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's
So-
shorthand for words.
Right. And a lot of we'll get into it because there's a lot that just plays parts into it, but
Okay.
so code talkers have been used throughout all 6 divisions of the United States military. But what's interesting with the Navajo is they didn't have words for things that we had. So artillery,
Yep.
tanks.
Yeah.
They didn't have words for these. Everybody else did. The English had words. Japanese had words. Germans had words. Everybody had a word because it was new to them. Or they were used to it. They've had them. They've seen them. They built them.
Yep.
The Navajo, people living on the land, not easy lifestyle, simple lifestyle,
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah. Minimalistic.
Minimalistic, yeah. So they started using them as codes. They would, getting through World War I, but what it kicked it off was World War II. Because World War II, we got hit Pearl Harbor. We were jumping into a fight. We were ready for the fight, but we weren't ready for the fight.
Okay.
We had the firepower. We didn't have the
Organization.
in-between,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Structure.
one, we're sending a military across the pond
Yep.
to go fight a fight that's, I think, we'll say 12 hours difference in time.
Yeah.
What's the time difference? you
About
think?
that.
Something like that.
Something like that. So you figure
Probably
that into
14.
account. Homies sitting in the White House during the day giving orders, and these homies got to take those orders and act them out in the middle of the night, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it took a minute. It was kind of inconvenient, but once you set up a structure, it kind of rolls.
Yep.
But the problem we had was the codes kept getting broken. Come
Right.
to going back to the Navajo code
Uh-huh.
and them using their instances. So I brought up artillery because these are some of the few words that I was able to find where they were translated, so to speak,
Okay.
in what the Navajo were calling them in English.
Right.
So artillery, in their words, they called it many guns.
Okay.
So it kind of, we hear artillery, there's a cannon. There's a big freaking cannon gun, something over there. You hear many guns, oh, it's a, squad of dudes, a couple rifles. All right, no big deal.
Mm.
Kind of changes the tone of, am I worried about that?
Right.
So
Catches the enemy off guard.
So, and it's funny because a lot of people think that these codes were actually prevalent on land. They weren't. They were also prevalent at sea.
Okay.
Because one of the terms for a submarine was called an iron fish.
Nice.
Okay, well, I mean, that one I see.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
So, and then another one that I found was for a tank, and they called it a tortoise.
I see that too.
Yeah, that also makes sense.
Turtle.
Right. But when
No, it's a tortoise.
when you listen
Land
to
turtle.
when you listen to the Navajo and the way they speak,
Uh-huh.
it's very. I don't know how to explain it exactly. It's still. It's not. It's still. I don't want to say it's not sophisticated because it is sophisticated, but it's not.
Formal?
It's not formal. It's very
Casual?
natural.
Natural.
Natural noises that they made that over time
And to the point.
became to mean what they needed it to be, right? So you take that to any other culture where they're used to, oh no, this is a formal language. This is how we talk. This is a word. And
This is right, this is wrong.
And you get on the radio and you hear someone go Hashiwani y'all or something. I don't know. I don't speak. I do not speak any other language outside of English and Spanish. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what language that was.
I don't know.
That's one
For
you
all
just
I know,
made
it's
up?
some cuckoo brain thing I made up, or I don't know. Maybe I'll
Alright,
learn Chinese. I don't know.
Yeah.
Word.
But the people we were dealing with as an enemy at the time, they weren't used to that as a normal form of communication because it was also very located in North America. You didn't have Native American people
Right.
walking around in Europe, walking around in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't there.
Yeah.
'Cause they was
Over
Native
time they
Americans.
got there,
Yeah.
traveling, opening up borders and all that. So it was kind of, on the underhand, a kind of, we've got this, nice,
It's
we got this nice shiny toy and he's helping us out a lot.
yeah.
And
ace
It's
in the
our
sleeve.
ace up our sleeve.
Yeah.
right.
Gave us an advantage. We
So-
were able to communicate with, and we could understand it.
But nobody else could.
And yeah, no one else could understand it.
It's powerful.
So the man who came up with the proposed idea for the language was a man by the name of Philip Johnston.
Okay.
He was a civil engineer for the city of Los Angeles, and he proposed the idea to the United States Marine Corps at the beginning of World War II. The reason he proposed it is because he grew up around Native Americans. It was part of his culture, but he wasn't a Native American, so to speak.
Okay.
If that makes
Yeah.
some sense.
Yeah, he was
So
familiar with the culture. It's
he
like
was familiar with the culture, but he wasn't part of the culture.
right.
Yeah.
It's like white people in Miami like Cuban food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he knew just enough about the culture that he could pick up on. Oh, he said this,
Hmm.
or he's trying to. I think he's saying he knew enough that he could put enough together to kind of figure it out. Now, taking that, he goes through and pitches it to the Marine Corps, going through, and they like it. They sign on because that's when he proves, how fast he can send the message using their language, which was a 30-minute communication
In 30
in under
seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
And as soon as they did that, he did that. Marine Corps was like, "Yep, put the stamp on the paper. Let's get this ball rolling." That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So they enlisted 300 Native Americans to start this program. Out of those 300, 29 went to the front lines and did it. They were the only 29 code talkers of the Native Americans that went out during World War II. From what I've gathered, like I said, these are statistics from a lot of different places. But so out of those 29, they went and they started their training May 4th, 1942, and they were sworn in at the old U.S. fort that was eventually converted into a boarding school, Fort Wingate. I'm probably not saying that right, but they were organized as platoon 382, and the first of the night 29 attended their boot camp that May of 42 at Camp Pendleton.
Okay.
And I also have a list here of all the names and like where they were from, but I'm not going to go into all that right now. It also talks about medals that they earned. Now, like I said when I started this, from everything I've read to this day, this is still a code that's not been broken.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the downside.
Yeah.
Like I think we touched in on I think it was episode 2 about people like languages being lost because two people don't want to talk.
Oh,
I
right.
can't remember if that was an episode or just back porch talk.
I don't remember what you said.
Fort Wingate was a military installation near Gallup, New Mexico.
Okay.
Okay.
Gallup where?
Gallup, New Mexico.
Okay.
So that's where they were sworn in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
But because of trends and the way everything's going, a lot of the languages we used for the code via the Native Americans,
Yeah.
they're like I said, it's been written down now, if I'm not mistaken, but the use of it
It's dying out.
It-
is
Yeah.
dying out.
Dying, yeah.
So it's going to eventually, if it remains and it stays unbroken and then people forget how to use it,
Yeah.
it will have been the one language that became code that nobody ever cracked.
That'd be
I
interesting.
got a challenge for that.
I'm interested.
Carry on.
But it's their most notable achievements were during the Battle of Iwo Jima. There was an instance where they were trying to push enemy fortifications, and something in a communication got mixed up, and the Navy local artillery started firing. I think it was 200 feet or so short of where they needed to, and actually started firing down on U.S. troops.
Oops.
Not good.
Yeah, no. And it was one of these code talkers that was like, "Hey, push that out a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. We're
Yeah.
getting hurt."
Yeah.
But a lot of it had to do with that. And it's kind of also a thing to remember that during World War II, there was still a lot of racial tension.
I was gonna
for
say
sure.
the colonizers were pretty crappy to the
Right.
Native Americans, and then for the Native Americans to step up and be like, "Hey, we
Well,
got this."
and it was funny because there was actually a surge in Native Americans wanting to join the military right after the attack of Pearl Harbor. They saw it as an attack on themselves as well.
right. I mean, because it was theirs before it was.
Well, I don't know about, wouldn't say the Native Americans were, but because they were part of America
Right.
and America got hit, they were like, okay, yeah, let's
Yeah.
go do this. But even while they were there was still, oh, well, you kind of look like a Jap to me, or, if I, there was a whole lot of things that were said to them.
Shit's fucked up.
And it's also kind of prevalent to note that there were code talkers that got caught. And that's a big thing. You get that guy that has the information on how to crack that code, you might have a leg in.
Yeah.
There were two sides to that coin. Because it was only 29 of the Native Americans that knew the code and knew how to talk it,
Yeah.
and outside of that, there was up to possibly 30 that had a partial understanding of that code. The way they designed it was, even if one of the code talkers was to get caught, they had it set up to where they could just issue a code change, which was, for the code talkers, was very simple.
Mm-hmm.
But when you went to go to the code, it was,
It was like changing the dialect from northern to southern,
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Crazy.
It was
but it completely changed.
right. And I think that might have been them changing the way, like, from the enunciations between tribes, maybe.
Okay.
You know.
That's powerful.
It is powerful.
That's very big brain.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So the other side of it was, these guys did get caught, this, that, the third. There is a myth out there that at one point, and it's kind of shown in the movie Wind Talkers, like we were talking about at the beginning of this. But in that movie particularly, there's a ungiven order, so to speak.
Air quotes there, guys. Air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes. Sorry, guys.
Ungiven order.
But it's the ungiven order of, if you think he's going to get caught, kill him, because the code is what's important.
Code's more valuable than.
Geez, so they
The
go
life
kill their
itself.
homeboy, look at their wrist like a fucking quarterback, and be like, all right,
That's the play. Yeah.
yeah,
But
next play.
I mean, to
That's
be
wild.
fair, that would be any person in
Oh
that
yeah,
position.
100%.
Like, it wasn't because it was a Native American. I would hope not. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope not.
Now, people believe that myth was credited to a General Mueller, who had 2 Native Americans assigned to him for communications. He gave the soldiers around him the order that if they were going to be overtaken, they were to kill him and the communications.
okay.
And not because of the code, because of the fact that they had crucial in-time knowledge of the operations that were taking place in that area.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they had
so-
crucial intel,
So,
and they had the
yeah,
ability
the
to
code
talk
was
with each
important,
other.
Yeah.
but the intel on operations was infinitely more valuable.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, kill me so they don't torture it out of me.
Right. And I'm gonna be honest, that's a
Brave man.
that's a brave man
Oh,
all
yeah.
day long. Hey, if this goes sideways, make sure I die, because I can't.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's someone
yeah.
like laying it out straight up. This is the game plan.
that really is being between a rock and a hard place.
Yes.
Taking that job.
Homie did that.
Yeah.
He did that.
I mean, can you imagine
Respect.
having to like make that decision? Like,
That is
Well,
crazy.
so it was funny 'cause the Japanese, their version of it was I think it's called seppuku.
Yeah, they would just.
They preferred to die on their own terms. So if they knew they were going to die, they would
fall on their own swords.
They would follow. Well, they would slit their belly, and then I believe someone would cut their head off, or that might have been
Nah.
a
I think
different
it was-
side of it.
I'm pretty sure it's just the cutting of the stomach. That's how they would do it.
Thought like I could have sworn I've seen instances where like someone cuts off their head too. I don't know.
But
I
then
don't
that
know a
would-
lot
That
about
wouldn't
it.
be dying by their own hands.
But it's after they've. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know.
That's why I don't know enough
Yeah.
about it. I'm just
That
Yeah.
I would say maybe that's like an execution, but like
that maybe
Maybe. I don't know.
another proud culture, but
Yep.
but yeah, it's just interesting to think about that. People who, and I'll be honest, colonizers came in. Oh, this is dirt. This is my dirt. Hey, bro, what's up? We've been around the block for a minute. How you the neighbor now? Oh, hey, man.
That's
Hey,
my house.
we've been. Hey, why you pushing me this way?
That's my house.
Yeah.
That's my house, bro. That's my tree.
That's my neighborhood.
Yeah. So like they got the short end of the stick,
Oh yeah.
Oh, without
All
a
the way.
doubt. Without a doubt.
Yep.
and then
And
oh
still
wait,
to
we got
step-
attacked.
Yeah, still.
No, I gotta go handle this. And
Yeah.
by the way, here's some of my language. Let's make this unbreakable code that nobody's gonna know nothing about.
Hats off. Hats off. Kudos.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
I agree.
Brava.
Kudos to them.
holy shit.
Yeah, I just thought that was something interesting and deserved a mention.
That is interesting.
No, yeah, dude,
was-
that
yeah.
is crazy.
So
Only code that's never been broken.
You ready for me to throw my wrench into that not being the only code that's unbroken?
Go
yeah,
for it.
Go for it.
The Vonovich manuscript. Come
Lavon.
on,
Who?
come on, Google man.
Are you talking about the
What?
Voynich manuscript?
Yeah, Voynich.
Yeah, Voynich or Voynich.
I thought it was Vonovich. but
Voynich, the Voynich manuscript.
I've never heard of this.
It's
yeah. It's pretty fascinating, to be quite honest.
Was
I
it
don't
someone's
remember-
like personal journal?
yeah, it was
They don't
like
know.
they don't know. Yeah, it was some dude's book that he wrote a lot in, and there's drawings and stuff in it, but they
They-
can't really make sense of what the drawings are supposed to mean, and they
Some
can't.
of them look like they're actual plants. Some
Yeah.
look astrological.
Yeah, and he like wrote everything in a cipher, and they can't break the cipher, so they don't know what the words
And they
actually
think
are.
it's the same person because the handwriting is very similar, but one of the big things on there, it was like there's no mistakes, like there's no scratch that out and paper at the time was so expensive,
Right.
so they used smaller sheets of paper. There are like literally huge fold out pages in this manuscript, which would have been very expensive for the time.
Yeah. So homie would have had to have some kind of money, probably.
They're talking about like it took them years to do this. They have no idea who wrote the book. They don't know how old it is for
Okay.
sure.
So, the Voynich manuscript is an illustrated codex handwritten in an unknown script referred to as Voynich. The vellum on which it is written has been carbon dated to early 15th century, so between 1404 and 1438. Statistic analysis indicates that it may have been composed in Italy during the Italian Renaissance.
Because of something, when that it was something to do with the
Yeah, it's something
depiction
to
of the
do-
castle, right? With the
Yeah.
turrets and the castle or
Mhm.
whatnot. Yeah, the way the castle was
Drawn.
drawn.
Yeah.
They're like
Oh, I see.
that
It's
was a castle
the-
for this time
Yeah,
frame.
it was the castle and like the actual like contents of the paper.
right.
see.
It was like more like premium cloths and silks.
Okay.
But hypotheses suggest that it's a script for a natural language or a constructed language, an unread code, a cipher, or another form of cryptography.
But we still don't really know what it is.
Nope, and we don't know who wrote it.
It's been
Wow.
through many hands.
That's interesting. That
272 pages.
wow.
And some of those pages are big. Like
That's
I
a
was saying,
fucking that's a Harry Potter book, dude.
Yeah.
that's a little Harry Potter book.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Bro, that was the Wizard's Almanac. People just don't know.
Yeah.
Dude.
But talking about that, the Voynich manuscript reminds me of this thing called the Codex Gigas. It's like a biblical historical object,
Okay.
and it's a real book. It's a massive book, like 4 foot, 4
I've
or
heard of
5
a book
foot
like this,
and
yeah.
across. Yeah, and it's
Oh my god.
it has a legend attached to it.
And the colors that they use.
What you looking at over there?
Codex Gigas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, massive book. Yeah, Austin's pulled up a picture. It's huge.
Huge.
It kind of looks like a
That's a book.
an area rug is how big it looks.
That's a book for a giant, bro.
But it has a
encyclopedia.
yeah, it has a legend attached to it that supposedly there was this monk in a monastery, and this monk was kind of not a good monk, and he sinned a little bit too much perhaps,
Okay.
and he sinned so bad this one time, or maybe like got to the breaking point, that the other monks were like, "Look, man, we're gonna like kick you out," or it was yeah, Austin's pulled up a picture of, so that is like the devil that's in the book. There's one page in the book where
But then
on one side it's that devil, and then on the other side it's like the 9 levels of hell.
doesn't that like?
Jeez.
But doesn't that image remind you of something like out of like India or Asia type?
A little bit.
A
Yeah.
little
Figure?
bit, yeah, a little bit. So
Yeah, the art style. Yes.
Right.
so there's this monk that like he sinned too much, and the other monks were, what's that?
Keep on going. I think now that you're saying that, I think I know what it is you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so they put him in a wall in the monastery, like Cask of Amontillado style, where like he
the
was in this open space in the wall, and they like bricked him in, and he was in there, and they were like, "You can come out if you can write the entirety of the Bible through the night, and if you can't do that, we're gonna trap you in here." I believe is what the story was, and he was like, "All right," and then the legend continues that supposedly he made a deal with the devil to spare his life, and the devil allowed him the ability to write this massive book in one night.
Mm.
So
But
it's
not
like,
the Bible.
so it's the Bible. It's the Bible plus some other biblical texts, like other apocrypha and stuff like that.
Mm.
And supposedly the guy wrote it in one night. Like the monks came back the next morning and he had this massive fucking book. And they're like, "Well, shit, I guess we got to let him out."
Gotta let him out of the wall now. Damn
and
it.
the people think that he sold his soul to the devil or made a deal with the devil because of that one page with that devil drawing that Austin
Right.
pulled up. There's one page where the full size of that massive page is that drawing. And
Just
then
the entire page.
and the entire page is just that drawing of the devil that
Huh.
we saw.
From top to bottom is that devil.
Yes, yeah,
drawing. Wow.
it's huge, a huge drawing. And then the other page right next to it is the 9 levels of hell, full page.
Huh.
And they think that was him honoring the devil for allowing him the ability.
That specific page
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like the Bible, it's a bunch of other things. It's very it's written very well. It has a lot of ornate details, like a lot of art, a lot of like flowery.
What language is it written in? Is
I
it
think
written in
I think
English?
it's Latin.
Is it Latin?
I think it's Latin or English or like Old English or something.
So
But it's people were looking at it and they're like, the line work kind of seems to suggest that it was handwritten. But just like for the amount of detail and like effort put into like the drawings on the
there's no way he
the
could
edges
have
of
done
the
this in one night.
pages and stuff. Yeah, there's no way it could have been done in one night.
Or it could just be a folktale handed down about the book, and it probably took this guy
Yeah. Well,
50 years to do.
the book also has an interesting history where it's been passed hands many times,
Right.
but whenever it changes hands, it's usually like in tragedy. Like I don't remember all of them, but it's a whole string of them. At one
So the
point,
person that gets it, tragedy befalls them.
eventually, and then the book ends up somewhere else. Like for instance, at one point it ended up in the library in a castle in Sweden, I believe, and the library suddenly just caught fire, just burst into fucking flames, and like a lot of their library was lost, and people were up in there chucking books out the windows and stuff, and the Codex Gigas got chucked out the window, and it landed in a cart that like a donkey was pulling, and it just got carted away, and it was found in some other major city where some noble got it and put it in his personal library, and then something happened there and it changed hands again. I
So
don't remember all the specific details, but there's a whole string of events that you can trace around this book.
So the book's got like a paranormal aura around it to where it's like, I need to move on to this part, or it
Something,
brings
yeah.
tragedy, and it's like the book's like, I caused this destruction, now I need to save myself and go somewhere I'm not known.
Potentially.
Or it could all just kind of like be, what's it called? Like
Curse?
a metaphor.
The whole story and everything, just a metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Knowledge comes at a price.
I see what you're saying there.
Oh yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
And if it's this big magical book that these people get,
Yeah.
maybe it has knowledge that they use and it helps them out. But as soon as they use it to help themselves, all right, your deal's been struck. Now you're going to get screwed over.
Right, in some other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
He struck his deal with the devil and wrote the book.
So the key is
Then
to
his
get the
deal was
book
done.
and never open it.
Never open the book.
Or never strike the deal.
Or never strike the deal.
You can't strike the deal if you never open the book.
Well, that's true. But I'm sorry, if I have a book, especially something like that, I'm looking through it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm flipping straight to the page with the devil on it. And I'm like, this is gnarly, dude.
I want to see
And then, yeah.
the 9 gates of hell, or the 9 levels of hell on there, because wasn't it Dante that first introduced the 9 levels of hell?
Dante's Inferno.
I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but I know it's like... Oh, I think it's the levels of purgatory?
Which is, that's,
The 9
yeah,
levels.
same
I think
thing.
it's just another term for it.
I don't remember. I don't know if Dante came up
I mean,
with it, and I don't
technically,
remember if that's
purgatory is
exactly
the
what it
place you
was.
go while you're waiting to be judged to go to heaven
Yeah,
or
the
You
hell.
go
Right,
through
yeah.
Limbo.
Yeah,
Limbo.
yeah, limbo.
I don't remember all the specific details.
The scales.
But I want to say the 9 levels of hell or something like that. But it's very interesting when you start looking into it. There's a lot of coincidences and stuff that lines up, and you're like, might be something there.
Maybe. Again, we just need to go to a crossroads and go, oi.
Why not? We'll just go get the book
We go to a crossroads and then open the book up
at the crossroads. If
Yeah.
we're going to do it, well, let's go without it
Well,
with a
I
bang.
mean,
and do like a ritual, like a
Actually, that
summoning
might open a
circle.
portal.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should do a summoning circle.
We'll get the book, and then we'll call Brandon, and we'll go open it at Skinwalker Ranch.
yeah. I think if we have the book, Brandon might let us in, though.
That's what I'm saying. If we got the book.
Is there a crossroads on Skinwalker Ranch?
There's a triangle.
There's
we
a
go in the-
triangle.
There's a
Triangle.
triangle of roads, so we can do it right in the middle of that, because
Okay.
apparently that's below some, like, hot spot.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's where we'll do it.
But I mean, at this point, we're not going to get our hands on the book anytime soon. So let's
Oh,
just
no.
go to freaking crossroads and see what happens.
Where's this book located?
I don't know. In Europe, I think. It's in some freaking government library or some institute's thing. behind
Or
a
the
glass
Vatican
case.
Library.
Bet you
Yeah.
it's in the Vatican Library.
It might be. It might be.
Now, if there's that much information on it, it's like in a museum somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, remember what it says. People come into the Vatican Library and look at stuff. That doesn't
It's
mean
in the library at the Royal Palace in Stockholm.
That's right. Yeah. Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah, the manuscript remains in Prague until the Swedish army took it as war booty during the 30 Years' War. It was brought to the Stockholm along with many other precious items. The Codex Gigas ended up in Queen Christina's collections and was placed in the library at the palace in Stockholm.
Nice.
So it's been in Stockholm for a good long while now.
Yeah. I forgot. It's jogging my memory,
No,
but yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah, Stockholm
maybe
is
maybe the
its-
curse is broken.
Potentially. Sweden's a pretty chill country, so yeah, it's its current resting
or maybe
place.
that queen got it and heard the tale of it. She's like, yeah, put that over there.
Yeah. Put it under
Yeah,
glass.
Right, yeah.
Take that. You take it over there. You
With
make that
gloves.
glass box, put it on top of
Yeah.
it. Get the locksmith. He gonna lock that thing up.
With gloves. Don't touch
I'm gonna
it.
keep it. It's cool. It might be worth something, but lock that thing up. That'd be cool though. I'm telling you, it's a wizard book, bro.
The Codex Gigas?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should try and compile a list of real world wizard books and then try and get them. Like the Codex Gigas is one.
You might learn Eldritch Blast.
I might learn
I
Eldritch
kind of
Blast.
feel like you wouldn't have to go that deep. I mean, if you think about it, the Native Americans, Native Europeans, pre-Christianity times, basically everything they did was wizardry.
Sort of.
I mean,
it was mystical.
yeah, but I mean, it is because, like, what is left that is mysticism nowadays with the advent of science and technology?
Alchemy.
Huh?
Alchemy.
No, alchemy's not real.
Alchemy is technically like a form of science.
Yeah.
We know how that works.
I mean, what kind of mysticism's left in the world today?
There is voodoo,
Ah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Mount Fuji.
Black magic.
black magic.
The
What?
forest around Mount Fuji. I feel like that's some kind of mysticism, something.
Your brujas.
Yep, that's mysticism right there.
So, I'm wondering, and I've never really done any digging other
Skinwalkers.
than you were so hung up on that shit.
You said mysticism. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That I'm just wondering. And yeah, I mean, I guess to a degree, absolutely.
Bermuda
they're-
Triangle.
They're
Dragon's Triangle.
okay. The triangles are fascinating, but they're not like they call them devil's triangles,
Right.
And I think there's 13 across the globe, 9 or 13 across the globe. You might have to fact check me,
I've heard something.
but they're
about
called
that.
devil's triangles.
Great.
Yeah. There's a bunch of areas where
Yeah.
You
supposedly.
think they're
I think it's.
You think they're all wormholes to each other?
Oh, maybe
I-
that's where Flight 19 went.
I
It
think
started off in frickin' Bermuda and ended up in Siberia.
Maybe.
You know, I heard a story. I don't know if it's true, but it was at an airport. Air traffic controller, picks up a flight that they don't have record of, and this, that, the third, and the pilot's like, "Hey, we're low on fuel. We'd like to land. We've kind of had a rough flight." Air traffic controller's like, yeah. He starts getting information on the flight, like hit this runway, this, that, the third. Plane lands, pulls up to the gate. As soon as they pull up to the gate, the pilot's asking, all these questions, date, time, this, that, the third. Well, once they give him the date, the door to the plane immediately closes back up. The plane backs off, immediately gets back on the runway and takes off. And then the flight disappears off the radar again.
I'm going to have to do a little research on that one. That sounds a little interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have to look into that, I guess, or somebody's gonna have to look into it.
I'll look into it.
Okay.
Any
figure it all
listeners
out.
out there that have
Godspeed.
any information, just drop it in the comments for us. And
Ooh, that would be nice.
anybody that has any suggestions on
Or even
topics
just
they'd
link.
like to hear, drop it in the comments.
Yes, please. Yeah. Comments, feedback. It's all wanted.
Criticism.
Criticism.
Constructive
it.
Constructive
criticism.
criticism.
All of it.
All of it.
Constructive or otherwise.
All of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of, now you got me thinking. Like I dismissed doing devil triangles as a topic early on, even though it's something that's fascinating to me. I didn't think. I kind of thought maybe it was overplayed. Maybe something people wouldn't want to hear.
I didn't know there
Maybe.
was supposedly
Man,
13
I'd
of
tell
them.
you what,
It's like I think
It's
it is
9 or
It's
13,
9
I
or
can't
13,
remember.
yeah. And I think they're based off of ley lines, like global ley lines.
Oh, the
Which that's a
whole ley line
whole-
theory.
that's a whole
That's a
nother
whole
thing.
whole other thing.
Yeah.
You guys heard of Serpent Mound?
Who?
What?
Serpent Mound?
Serpent Mound?
Yes, there's one
Yeah.
in Ohio.
Maybe that's the one. I don't know.
There's a bunch of them, I think.
I know that for sure. There's one in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
But it's like those like structures like those berms built into the ground,
Yeah,
right?
and
then
Yeah,
like
but-
from above they
You can see that it's
Yeah.
like
yeah.
snakes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like in the rainforest, they're finding like squares and like perfect squares and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, dang, I think some cities were here at one point because it looks like roads
So-
and stuff.
This is actually interesting. I went on a trip to Mexico with my dad a while back,
Yeah.
and we went to go check out some of the temples in the area that we were at. So I was like, okay, cool. I get to go see.
Out in what, TJ?
No, we were down. I believe this was Chiapas, Mexico, so southern Mexico.
Okay.
Is where we were at. And so I was like, I'm down. Let's go check something out.
Yeah.
Pull up. First off, these things were freaking huge.
What?
Like,
pyramids?
well, they weren't all pyramids. They were pyramid-esque, but everything kind of had a different.
Are these like made out of stone or dirt?
Yeah, made out of stone.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
just straight up stone. So I'm
Gotcha.
like, okay, this is cool. I got pictures and stuff.
Just to clarify, pyramids aren't like always.
Well, there's the
There's
flat
step
pyramids and
There's flat. Yeah.
yeah, flat
yeah,
and
we had
step
steps.
pyramids. Yeah,
but
yeah,
this
yeah.
was the other thing. So each step was actually like 2 foot.
Yeah.
So like,
It's a big step.
oh homie, it was like doing lunges to the top, dude. It
Nice.
sucked.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got
Like
swole.
great workout.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great workout. Horrible workout though. But anyways, so we're walking around and we're looking at everything and okay, this is cool. And my dad kind of asked the question like, so how long has it been since you guys have uncovered everything? And the guy who's taking us around kind of laughs at us
We
and he
haven't
goes,
uncovered everything.
"What do you mean?" And I'm like, now I'm curious. I'm like, "What do you mean? What does he mean?" Like, y'all got it all right? He kind of points over to what I thought was a mountain. He goes, "Yeah, you see that right there? Yeah. Yeah, we did scans on that a few years ago. We're just waiting on the funding so we can dig it up."
LiDAR.
And I'm like,
That's crazy.
and I'm looking, and this mountain was taller than any of the other built like structures that we were at. Like
Wow.
dwarfed them. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to climb that thing. I don't want to climb that thing.
Oh, I want to.
Oh,
I want to
would
know what's in there,
definitely,
bro.
yeah.
I want to know what's
So,
at the
I want
top.
to see the view.
the view.
Amen to that.
So this is also the same place because I was walking around and I never really thought, okay, last names, it's a last name, no
Yeah.
big deal.
Right.
I was lied to because we're walking around and coming up to this one temple and it's called Temple de la Cruz,
Yeah.
and I was like,
That's cool.
I got a temple,
Yeah.
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 Hey, this is cool, and I'm like, now let me be a real person and Google what the hell this means. It was Temple of the Cross. Now, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say it probably wasn't Christianity, Catholic, or all that.
It could kind of go either way in that area
could.
because of the Spaniards.
Right, but
The name, that might not be its original name.
right. That might be the way I see it now because
Yeah.
of what we've been.
Because of the
Right.
Spaniard
Yeah,
invasion
right.
in that
Yeah.
territory.
But back then, I ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and
Yeah.
that's where I climbed to the top, and that's where I realized them steps was 2 foot apart, and that hurt.
It'd be cool to go.
It was
there.
like 2 foot apart, but each step was like 6 inches like deep.
oh, weird.
Yeah. So like
They were-
every time I'd step, part of my foot was still hanging off, and then I had to like lunge up to the next.
Jeez.
You sidestep.
That's what I'm. You want
sidestepping
strong
up the whole
legs?
thing.
Go ahead, climb that thing.
Yeah, I'll be down there.
That's
Oh, it's
pretty
hot
cool.
though.
I don't know. Hinges are pretty cool. The snake mounds are pretty cool. That's all super fascinating stuff. The Coral Castle in Florida is
Oh,
something
yeah.
I would like to go see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think that would be absolutely fascinating that a man made all this the way, essentially the way they built Stonehenge and the pyramids. He used simple tools with supposedly one person.
You know what I wish I could have seen?
What's that?
The Gardens of Babylon.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yes.
Gardens of Babylon,
Yes.
dude. Dude, like the illustrations
If the s-
themselves are
if-
beautiful.
If
like,
the
oh my god.
stories, if the stories of the Gardens of Babylon are accurate, oh my golly, we lost so much
You know,
so long ago.
I have a fun thought. You know, everybody has the, well, what if we could time travel this, like you were talking about, I believe, in episode 2, time travel.
Right.
Okay, it'd be cool to go there personally, right? Honestly, I'd settle to where, like, I could go to that location and just,
And
like,
just
open a window
See
and
it,
then
just
see what
it.
was going on, like, X amount of years past in that area.
Right, and then
Yeah.
For me, I think that would just be enough, because I could be like, whoa!
I don't think
Yeah.
I'd want to interact. I don't think I'd want to
Yeah.
mess up with the flow. I
Exactly.
think I would just want to observe
Well, that,
without
and then, you
being
know,
observed.
people like us pull up where, you know, we got glasses, you know, we shiny because we got jewelry, nice clothes. They look at us, they're like, nope, stab.
that's when I
Wow.
pull out my gun and I shoot
The
them.
wham bam.
Yeah, you're gonna that thing's gonna go off 3 times max before they go, I want that. I don't know what you have, but that thing has power and I want it.
And then you're getting pelted by rocks.
Oh, you
I'll
getting
run.
spears
You're
chucked
gonna-
at you,
you're gonna be
arrow,
stoned
you
to
get
death.
the
Of
whole
course.
city, bruh. The whole city's after you for the last 7 bullets in your Glock.
I'll shoot the king, then take the throne. Or shoot the emperor or whatever. And if they're all trying to kill me or whatever, be like, fine, I'm your king.
No, I mean, would they? Do you think they would
You are
ultimately?
so radical, bro.
Again,
Well,
okay,
yeah, I'm a
so
time
I
traveler.
think
we
think
want to
they
be
would.
observers. Would they go? Oh, we need to kill him to take what he has, or they'll go bow down because he's
That's
more
power they don't
powerful.
understand.
Right.
Yeah.
So it depends. I would think it depends on the initial interaction.
I think innately humans, and we've lost a lot of it over millennia. I think they would be like, that's magic, that's wisdom. We want to learn from
Yeah.
that. We are going to.
They're gonna go like, man went like this, and
So-
other man died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where I think it would change. If
But why would you just pow, 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 kill him and take over his throne?
Because they were trying to kill me already. They're pelting me with rocks and shit like that.
he was being defensive?
Well,
Because I said, oh, they basically they looked at him. He's different. He stands out. You
They're
know,
gonna
let's
attack
get
him.
okay.
them. Yeah.
So your gut reaction is to kill them.
If they're attacking me,
Okay.
if it's a whole bunch of them and they're attacking me and they only have rocks, I'm pulling out the wham bam.
Yeah, a bunch of tribesmen running at me with obsidian weapons.
Yeah.
Pulling
Yeah.
out the wham bam. On
oh,
that one.
if it's obsidian, no. See, y'all,
That's
The
dragon
law of
glass. What you
escalation.
talking about?
the
Obsidian.
law of
Okay.
escalation.
It's the same dude.
They're gonna come at you with knives, and you gonna turn around and bam. No, if you know they got rock swords, get a strong metal stick and break their shit.
Where are you gonna get a strong metal stick from?
Gonna
Apparently
pull
we're
up
If
like
bringing
you got a
swords with
Glock,
us.
you don't have a metal stick, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would have to go back
mean-
with the metal stick.
I mean,
But
what am I
He's
pulling
saying-
up
he's
on
saying
him like
your
a Mando
gun
or
is a metal
something?
stick.
Yeah, if your gun is a metal stick, all you got to do is hit it the right way, and you're
He's-
breaking their shit. You don't
He's
even have
saying
to shoot 'em.
pistol whip him. You don't have to
Yeah.
kill him, but you can pistol whip him.
They've never been
Yeah.
hit by something like that. As
Yeah.
soon as you hit one of them, he's like, "Oh, what the, dude? My head is rocking, but I'm not." Yeah, I'm done. I don't know what you. I ain't. And then it makes noise. I'm good.
word.
I mean, would you have to
That-
actually fire your weapon at him, or could you just fire it in the
Yeah,
air?
you could possibly do it in
That's
the
what
air.
I was also thinking. Like,
And they'd be like, what the fuck was that?
because they wouldn't have the noise pollution like we have now.
Yeah.
Oh, so that shit would.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Back
right.
then, that thing might be way 5 times louder.
5 times, probably a lot more than that.
Well, I was trying to be
It wouldn't be louder, but it might travel further.
regardless. Like,
The
it's
sound
gonna
would
that's
itself,
gonna
yeah.
draw attention.
I
Yeah,
feel
oh,
like
yeah,
a gunshot has way more decibels than anything on almost anything natural that they would hear on
And
a
all-
regular basis.
And if it was me, I didn't have the Glock. I had my AR.
Well, I was just,
I know.
for the sake of
Theoretically
yeah,
speaking.
yeah.
Your Glock. I know. Or your baby eagle.
I'm digging just opening a window and observing
Yes.
without intruding. I
Yeah,
want
that'd be
to
really
observe without being observed. That
That'd
way
be-
I could
yeah.
see, I wouldn't interfere with their life or their daily activities. And I mean, Pompeii, that's one I'd love to go
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, oh my gosh. If the Romans could build roads that are still good today,
Yeah.
why can our city not do it with the technology we have?
Mm.
Gosh.
I don't know. It's fun to think about like what the Earth looked like though before it was all industrialized.
Bet you it
Like, it
was
was just
beautiful.
natural. Yeah, it was probably gorgeous everywhere.
I think I'd also go back to a lot of the proclaimed sites where I think that wasn't it the statue of Zeus? Is that still up or did that fall?
Oh, bro.
I don't
coulda
know.
Are
seen
you
that.
talking about it wasn't Zeus,
Are you
it
talking
was
about the Colossus
the
of Rhodes?
Colossus. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The Colossus of Rhodes was the one that supposedly
And they think that
straddled
was
the bay.
they think it
Or-
was a super large statue. They're not.
More recently, I think it's come out that they think it was probably more like the Statue of Liberty, and maybe like a little bit smaller.
Which I mean, for that time was
Is- yeah.
absolutely freaking huge.
Amazing.
I mean,
But still, even if it wasn't, and it truly was this ginormous statue that straddled over the bay as you went into
That's
the
pretty
city,
cool.
like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck.
It's really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
I'd want to go see some of the ancient docks that they had back then.
Right? I just want to see
The
all
docks,
of it.
like the
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
shipyards. I think that would be amazing. Like they're making these huge ships, and they don't have modern tools, air quotes. So I think it'd be interesting just to see how they did it.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like the Vikings were the first ones to actually step foot on North America, and other than Native Americans, Vikings were the first people that weren't native to the Americas that stepped foot on the Americas,
Yeah.
and they have just recently, within the past decade, discovered the proof of this. Boom, mind blown.
Yeah.
Move out the way, Christopher Columbus. It wasn't you, Holmes. Go
It
back
was-
to Spain.
It was Leif Erikson.
Leif Erikson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about it like that, how many other people made it that didn't survive?
Well, if they didn't.
Like they got here
Oh.
and then something here got them.
I mean, quite possibly, but I
Yeah.
mean, if you just think about where they came from, the ocean that they crossed, like, so they're crossing Titanic crossing territory
Yeah.
in wooden ships built by hand with using the stars, and they think the what was that sundial, that, it wasn't a sundial, but that sun crystal thing that they use to help navigate on like overcast days and stuff with the bucket of water.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I haven't heard of
dude.
this.
It's super fascinating. Do Vikings crystal bucket of water navigation.
Yeah.
That should bring
Viking
it up.
compass.
Austin's Googling it up.
I'm gonna call it the Viking compass.
It was a little bit it was, but I mean it was like super advanced for the time, and people now are rebuilding ships the way the Vikings did it and making the crossing with the same instrumentation, same technology
Yeah.
that the Vikings had to prove that yes, this is freaking possible, because people are like, no, they didn't do it.
That's cool.
Sunstone.
Sunstone. It's pretty fascinating.
The sunstone is a type of mineral attested in several 13th and 14th century written sources in Iceland, one of which describes its use to locate the sun in a completely overcast sky. Sunstones are also mentioned in the inventories of several churches and one monastery in the 14th and 15th century of Iceland and Germany. So basically they would just take the sunstone in the water and find the reflection of the sun through the clouds.
I
And
see.
and somewhere a
Uh,
compass was involved in it too.
Okay.
So
Okay.
where the position of the sun was how they knew where to go on an overcast day, because the stone amplified it.
The reflection of the
Yeah,
sun.
amplified the
Oh, it
reflection.
would it focused the.
Yes.
I see. That's pretty clever.
Mhm.
It's pretty clever.
That would be an interesting point of history, to be able to open that window and look down upon it and see.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be real interesting.
So there's because you brought up people building ships like they did back in the day. They have I don't know if it's a company specifically, but people who monitor cargo ships in the ocean have finally apparently realized that those things use a lot of gas. So they've proposed a new idea.
I think I know where you're going.
Sails.
And it's
They're going
giveaway.
to possibly put sails back on cargo ships
Wow.
to make them more eco-friendly. And I'm like,
Duh.
so we're going back now.
We're going full circle,
right
man.
back where we were at. Got
Full
it.
circle.
We couldn't just put a motor on the boat we already had. We had to go make a whole new boat.
Yep.
Or put sails on the ships that we already have.
No, that's the new proposition is the ships that we have, they're going to try and do this before but yes.
But they're like touting it as this new eco-friendly thing. It's like,
Yep.
It's not new.
It's not new. It's
All right, guys.
we've been doing that shit forever.
It is eco-friendly though.
Oh yeah.
Very
I
eco-friendly.
mean, as long as it takes shit to get here anyway, like, how,
Yeah, might as well use sails.
I mean, does it matter how fast it gets to the port
Well,
and sits in the port for 3 weeks
So
before it unloads?
the thing that they're assuming is if it works correctly and they can catch the winds will allow the engines to not work as hard so they don't have to burn as much fuel.
Oh, so
Because
we're
of
gonna,
how much they weigh, they still need the motor.
so
But they're trying to find ways to help cut the cost of the
so
fuel.
we're gonna go back
Gotcha.
to using the trade winds.
yeah.
Wow, novel idea, guys. Novel idea.
We're
Using
smarter
what
than,
we were given already.
we're smarter than we've ever been.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Indeed, we are.
In some ways we are. In some ways we are so much dumber.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey y'all, thanks for listening to us. If you were interested in what we had to say, please leave a comment or share us with a friend. We are curious for feedback and can't wait to hear from you. Here's a clip from an upcoming episode. Until next time, enjoy.
Dolphins are another one of those extremely intelligent
Yeah,
species.
I know that. Yeah.
Like, they willingly have sex and get high just because.
Because it's fun. Yeah. And they like to rape. It's a real thing.
They jump like pretty much all of their prey, all of their enemies.
Yep.